Yeah, and I'm going to start with Miles Sanders, who I absolutely love. I mean, we're talking about a guy who could be a top 10 fantasy running back in 2020. If you look back to his rookie year, he had about a 5 game stretch without Jordan Howard where he averaged right around 21 touches per game and over 20 fantasy points per game. I could see him being drafted as early as the top of the second round. I also really like Clyde Edwards-Alaire. And, I get it. Damian Williams is there, but Edwards-Alaire ended up in a great spot in Kansas City. Andy Reid's offenses have always produced great running backs from a fantasy perspective, especially guys who can catch the ball out of the backfield. And a little stat for you on Damian Williams. Last year, 21% of his fantasy points, Andrew, came on 2 plays. So I really feel like he was more inconsistent than even the numbers might suggest at the surface. And it's only a matter of time before Clyde the Glide, glides into your fantasy lineup as a potential fantasy superstar.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players in the entire draft and undoubtedly will be one of my favorite rookies as well. How about some wide receivers there, Fabiano?
Let's go to San Francisco and Deebo Samuel. Last year, second half of the season, really started to show some flashes of major potential from a fantasy perspective. Over the final 8 weeks, he was ninth in fantasy points among wide receivers. He averaged nearly 16 yards a catch. He also ranked tied for third among wide receivers in broken tackles, averaged almost 3 yards after contact, and no Emmanuel Sanders anymore. So Deebo is going to be the man in San Francisco. And then Terry McLaurin in our nation's capital. Last year started off strong, faded in the middle of the season, and then towards the second half of the year, he was tremendous, averaged right around 17 yards a catch, which is just great. I think he could be a top 15 fantasy wide receiver as the number one option in Washington's passing game for his former Ohio State teammate and now Washington Redskins teammate, Dwayne Haskins.